You know, Iron Man is cool. Yeah.
The top 10 HUDs in video games. For those who don't know, HUD is an acronym for Heads Up Display. In video games, the HUD is pretty much all the stuff on screen that gives you information. Health bars, ammo counters, objective markers, attack buttons, you name it. If it's a visual element that's communicating information to the player, it's part of the HUD. Some games have HUDs that are super elaborate and complex, like World of Warcraft, with loads of buttons and statistics being displayed at any given moment. Other games, like Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons, have practically no HUD at all, aside from the occasional tutorial. In my opinion, the menu systems of games should usually be counted as being part of the HUDs as well, because they serve the same purpose of communicating information to the player in a clear and concise way that benefits the game's atmosphere.
A great HUD can take a good game and make it great. A terrible HUD can take a good game and make it terrible. So obviously HUDs are really important, and this is my top 10 list of my favorite HUDs in video games. Now, obviously my list is probably going to be different than yours, just because first off, this is limited to the games I've actually played, as well as games I actually know about. And so if you don't see a HUD that you really like on this list, or if you disagree with one of my choices, well, it's just my opinion, get over it. So with all that said, let's get started.
The Assassin's Creed series, generally speaking, has pretty much the same HUD in every game. The design might change a bit here and there, but the general concept is always the same. You're in the Animus, the high-tech time machine that lets you relive your ancestors' memories through the power of DNA. Everything about the HUD in Assassin's Creed communicates this futuristic concept with style. From the health bar to the eagle vision and everything in between, the HUD of Assassin's Creed games brings a subtle reminder that you're separated from what's happening on screen by hundreds, if not thousands, of years. It's a subtle thing that you barely even pay attention to, but it just goes that little bit farther to add immersion to the experience. It also helps that whenever you're outside the Animus, there's virtually no HUD to speak of, adding more credibility to your experiences with the Animus. Weren't expecting this one, were you? That's right, Super Smash Bros. Has one of my favorite HUDs of all time. I'll admit, I didn't think of adding Smash Bros. To this list until I was almost done with the script, and I passed up Star Wars Republic Commando to put it in, so I guess that makes Republic Commando an honorable mention? But the more I thought about it, the more sure I became. Super Smash Bros., like Assassin's Creed, has pretty much the same HUD in every game. The players in the match are shown at the bottom with their team colors, a picture of the character they're playing as, and the percentage of damage they've taken, as well as any other miscellaneous information the game type calls for, such as extra lives in a stock match. What I love about the Super Smash Bros. HUD is that it gets the point across so clearly, without cluttering up the screen with loads of superfluous information. If you've taken a lot of damage, you know it at a glance, and you also know who is on whose team based on the team colors, so the HUD on its own answers most of the questions you might have at any given moment. That's exactly what a HUD is meant to do, and Smash Bros. Pulls it off really well. I should also mention that the menu systems in Smash Bros. Are well executed and rarely confusing, except for the freaking campaign map in Brawl, but forget about that. Super Smash Bros. Has an awesome HUD, and the series has earned a spot on this list for sure. If you know me, you know that I love Kingdom Hearts, and I love the HUD in Kingdom Hearts too. The HUD in the original game was good and all, but it was a bit visually boring. In Kingdom Hearts 2 though, the HUD actually changes its look based on the world you're exploring. My favorite of all these HUDs though, comes in the final level of the game, the world that never was. I love the Kingdom Hearts heart at the top especially.
Such foreshadow. Very heads-up display. Wow.
Mass Effect is one of the most immersive game series I have ever experienced, and one of the ways Mass Effect 2 accomplishes this immersion is with its simple but effective HUD. Weapon info on the left, squad info on the bottom, and enemy health bars at the top. It's an uncluttered approach that keeps the focus on the combat. But as great as the combat HUD is, I have to say that it's the conversation HUD that really stands out to me. Talking to people is a huge part of Mass Effect, and because your dialogue choices not only affect your progression through the game, but also major story events that'll have consequences in later games in the series, it's important that your dialogue options are presented clearly and concisely. That's something that the Conversation HUD does really well. Just rotate the control stick in the direction of what you want to say and press A. On a somewhat related note, something I really like about the Conversation HUD is that Shepard doesn't say exactly what the dialogue choice says. Instead, the dialogue choice is sort of like the essence of what you want Shepard to say. I like this because it makes the conversations more interesting. All in all, Mass Effect 2 has some great HUD design. Skyrim. You know, it might sound weird to say, but my time playing Skyrim is sort of like a major event in my life. When Skyrim first came out, I went to the midnight release of it with my best friend, and we chatted on Xbox Live as we created our characters and began to explore the game's massive world for the first time. Skyrim has always been a social experience for me because there's always something new to discover, a new adventure to tell your friends about. It's a truly special game. One of the things that makes Skyrim special is its HUD. Skyrim's HUD is there when you need it and gone when you don't. When you consume magic or take damage or lose stamina, your status bars appear, and when you're done, they fade away. The only element of your HUD that never goes away is your objective compass and your crosshairs, which are unobtrusive and more useful than distracting. I love this approach because Skyrim is a beautiful game, and it's so much more immersive to experience the game world without health bars and ammo counters to distract you. Everything is context sensitive and only shows up when you need it to. I should also mention how well the map and item menus are designed because you'll be visiting them a lot. I don't have a lot to say about them other than that, really. They're really well designed. Up next is a game that might surprise you. Minecraft is, when you think about it, a game that entirely revolves around its HUD. From your item selections, health, armor, and hunger on the main screen to the crafting screen and various other HUDs in the game's success absolutely depends on having a HUD that's well executed, easy to use, and easy to understand. And it succeeds with flying colors. No matter what platform you're playing on, all of the information your HUD gives you is easy to understand, relevant to what you're doing, and above all, well designed. Equally impressive is that even when you apply different texture packs or mods to the game, the basic HUD systems have such strong design concepts that they still hold up just as well.
Critics are raving. Fallout 3 is like Skyrim with guns.
Okay, bad jokes aside, Fallout 3 has one of the best HUDs I've ever seen. Now, the gameplay HUD itself isn't the most incredible thing ever, but it's what you don't see at first that makes this HUD truly special. Sure, you've got your basic information all here, HP, compass, AP, ammo, and the condition of your weapon. But did I mention you can freeze time and do this?
I was frozen today!
Say hello to VATS, the absolute best way to play Fallout 3. VATS is an aiming system that lets you take a gamble by choosing various parts of an enemy's body and trying to specifically fire your weapon at those parts for a chance at higher accuracy and greater damage. It also conserves ammo, which is extremely important in this game. I just love how well implemented VATS is. It's useful against every enemy in the game, assuming you've got the AP to spend available, and it's a unique feature that really sets Fallout 3 apart. But VATS isn't even the best part of Fallout 3's HUD. No sir. The best part of Fallout 3's HUD is actually your item menu system. This is the Pip-Boy, your one-stop shop for all things inventory related. You can do just about everything that's important on your Pip-Boy, from repairing your weapons to healing yourself to checking your map. The design of this device is just so cool, and it goes a long way towards establishing you in this futuristic post-apocalyptic world. BioShock is one of the darkest and most powerful games I've ever played. A corrupted underwater city populated by lethally vicious drug addicts called splicers, hulking behemoths of men turned into killing machines known as Big Daddies, and the poor brainwashed little girls or little sisters that they protect. This is the frightening world of Rapture, and we're stuck here until we can find a way to escape. One of the elements that makes BioShock such a powerful gaming experience is its simple and effective HUD. Your health and EVE bars, as well as the number of refills you have on your person, are constantly on display in the top left, with a very cool design that reminds me of vials of scientific liquid in high-tech containers. At the bottom left is your ammo counter, alternate ammo types, and whatever genetically powered plasmid superpower you might have equipped. It's a very clean HUD, and it never gets distracting. Whenever you get new objectives, this little alarm system notification pops up, and it's just got so much character. I love it. But what really takes this HUD from being ordinary to something really special is the radio. From time to time, you'll get radio messages from various characters in the game, and you'll listen to recorded messages from the freaks that inhabit this twisted city. There's also the store screen and the hacking screen, but personally I find the best HUD in the game is just the basic combat HUD. There's so much atmosphere and character packed into every detail, and it all adds to the frighteningly powerful gameplay experience that is BioShock.
Yes, boyo. Would you kindly move on to number 2?
Maybe it's strange that 2 of my top 3 video game HUDs are from action horror games, especially if you know that I personally am not a horror junkie by any means. But that just shows you how great this next HUD really is. Dead Space is a game that's all about immersion, keeping you on the edge as you explore the ruins of the mining spaceship Ishimura, always afraid of what terrifying monster necromorph will come bursting out of the next vent or charging around the next corner. One of the biggest ways that Dead Space pulls off this powerful immersion is with its HUD. It's quite unlike any HUD in any other game I've ever played. Rather than displaying all the information a player needs in random corners of the screen with the overlay approach that most games take, Dead Space puts all of that information onto the main character, Isaac Clarke himself. Isaac's spacesuit, or rig, displays his health, stasis meter, item screen, objectives, and even many cutscenes on the suit itself. The detail that I really love though is that even your menu screens aren't immersion breaking. Instead, they're displayed as a projection from your rig suit. Even your ammo counter is shown as a projection from your gun itself, rather than being displayed elsewhere on screen. It's a really cool HUD system that strips away all the distractions and keeps your focus on Isaac himself, rather than on anything else. The only thing that seems kind of silly about this HUD system is that Isaac's health and stasis are displayed on his back, so how does he see that information himself? Creepy game, cool HUD, it thoroughly deserves number 2 on this list.
Which means there's just one more HUD to go. And if you know me, or if you've been following my channel for a long time, you'll probably already guess what this is going to be. But here we go.
Metroid Prime is one of my favorite games of all time, and for good reason. It's a fun, exciting, mysterious, isolated, atmospheric, and dangerous first-person adventure, the kind you can never forget once you've experienced it. In a good way. In the game, you play as Samus Aran, an intergalactic bounty hunter on a mission to a remote planet called Talon 4. Metroid Prime's HUD is a freaking masterpiece. While several of the games on this list used their HUDs to increase immersion, none of them pulled it off quite as well as Metroid Prime. For starters, not only is the game in first person, but you can actually see the edges of the helmet and visor you're wearing, like you're really in Samus's head, seeing through her eyes. There's also loads of little details that get thrown into the HUD, like the tiny raindrops that hit your visor in Talon Overworld. Your health and ammo counters are really well implemented, as are the various controls for your arm cannon beams. But where the HUD really shines in Metroid Prime is in its alternate visors. There are 4 visors in the game, and each one changes the gameplay experience and is useful in particular situations. The combat visor is the default visor, and it's what you'll be using most of the time as you fight enemies and explore the world. The scan visor is a really unique system that allows you to gather information about the world around you by scanning little hidden nodes. You can't fight in this mode, but using it effectively is crucial to finishing the game. Later on, you'll get the thermal visor, which, like it sounds, shows the world through a thermal scope, displaying heat signatures and letting you solve cool puzzles. Finally, there's the X-ray visor, which reveals hidden pathways and invisible enemies and changes the look of the world to a really cool blue and white color palette. I love all of these features because they bring the game world to life in a very fun and unique way. Every tool at your disposal is important, and it's all at your fingertips in a well-constructed HUD. This is immersion at its finest, believably bridging the gap between the player and the character on screen with the power of the HUD.
So that's it. That's my top 10 list of my favorite HUDs in video games. Now, you may have disagreed with my list, and if so, okay, it's your opinion. But leave your comments below. Let me know what you liked, what you didn't like about this video, ways I can improve. This is the first time I'm really making a big foray into doing reviews and countdowns and stuff like that, and so I really would love your feedback, your constructive criticism, not your, yeah, you said you're stupid. We don't need that. Maybe we do. Would it be YouTube without that? Kind of hard to tell. But regardless, leave your comments in the comments section below, and I will check them out, and let me know what you thought about the video itself, and tell me what your favorite HUDs are in games. I'd love to hear them. And yeah, leave a like below if you liked the video. If you haven't already, please subscribe. And until next time, keep your spirits up and your HP high.